Hey, good morning, everybody. Jacques T. Morris here in Atlanta, Georgia. Today is Saturday, February the 8th, and this is our first edition of the Weekend Warrior Daily Accountability Call. Man, oh my goodness. So, a lot of things to talk about. However, the goal is not to be on here too long because, I was going to write down some things and then, man, I'm just like, okay, I just really like the free flow. However, this morning, I think, let's see, what time was it? It was about 5 o'clock. My body just woke up, okay? And I don't know, it was because, hey, this is the first day, literally on the weekend that, like, I don't get up early on the weekends. I used to tell myself I'm not a morning person. However, I found that whatever you tell yourself, that's what you believe. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I like that. Whatever you tell yourself is what you believe, okay? So you tell yourself you're not a morning person, guess what? You're not going to be a morning person, okay? If you tell yourself that you're not good at talking to people, guess what? You're not going to be good at talking to people. If you tell yourself you're not good at whatever it is that you're not good at, okay? That's what is going to take place because that's what you believe. And so when you put those type of ceilings on yourself, guess what? You are effectively playing into what I like to refer to as a self-limiting belief system. See, the things that you feel like you're good at or whatever, you're like, hey, I can do that. And guess what you do? You go do it. Regardless of how well you do it, you go do it. And I love to, I'm going to use her as an example. She's probably going to laugh. Miss Dorothy Butler, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Miss Dorothy Butler didn't grow up in the age of computers, okay? She didn't grow up in the age of social media. Like my kids, to be very transparent with you, they're more intuitive with a lot of things regarding technology, especially iPads. Like I like my desktop computer. That's what I like. My kids are really, really, really intuitive because they basically, that's the age that they grew up in. However, here's what I'll say. Miss Dorothy does not mind making mistakes. She does not mind learning. She does not mind sending all type of things to the best kept secret chat. And you know what? I always laugh and I smile. Here's why. Because that is truly the essence of MIA. No, not Miami. It's truly the essence of massive imperfect action. See, she's not saying, well, I'm no good on social media, so I'm not going to get on social media. No, she refuses to be denied. And when it comes to us, in life and business, we have to adopt that same mentality. So here's the reality. Be careful what it is that you're telling yourself. Like I said, I used to not like to get up early in the mornings. Now I just have to be very transparent. I'm really enjoying it. It's stretching me. Again, Monday, September the 16th, that was a pivotal date because we started the daily accountability call and we have been consistent for almost 5 months straight. Monday through Friday, we have not missed a day. There was only one day where I don't know what happened. I'm just going to say I woke up late. And the call, instead of starting at 6, I made sure that the call was done at 7. And I believe that particular day, I was also on here by myself, which that is nothing new, okay? Like I'm used to doing things by myself, being a pioneer, being a trailblazer, because in my mind, it's like, hey, somebody has to do it. Somebody has to do it. Many times, if you look at a pathway or a trail, if you will, somebody has to go down the path first. Somebody has to blaze the trail, cut the trail, and then ultimately others will follow. A lot of people, though, they won't take that initial step. Why? Because they're afraid of the unknown, which really kind of makes a parallel with fast track here. Ladies and gentlemen, the reality is many of us, we're stepping into uncharted territory when it comes to this fast track. Yes, we have a trip for Mexico on the line, okay? It was so funny yesterday. I was talking to someone for Miss Butler, and I was telling the individual, I said, yeah, we have an opportunity to win this Hawaii trip. The individual said, no, I thought it was Mexico. I said, you know what? It is Mexico. And so I was a little discombobulated, because of a lack of sleep yesterday. However, the thing that I love was that Miss Butler's enthusiasm and her desire to share with others, had already made a significant imprint on someone before they came into Melaleuca, okay, before they joined the fast track, before they've gotten on an accountability call, that like they already, like the seed was planted, Mexico. And here I've been talking about this, for the last 48 hours or 24 hours, and I'm talking about Hawaii. So it just goes to show, ladies and gentlemen, that enthusiasm is most definitely contagious. And again, thinking about this fast track, last year when we did it, and I shared it with you guys before, I fell short. And, in so many words, I could say I failed, okay? And I feel like I'm a pretty talented individual. I feel like, hey, I most definitely could have qualified, but I didn't. And even with that, it did not, and I don't even know if I'd ever participated in fast track before. As a matter of fact, I don't think I had, okay? So that didn't stop me from participating in the next Partner Up Challenge and Fast Track that Melaleuca had. One of the things that I was sharing with Greg Stinson was that last year when I was doing the Fast Track, I didn't have anyone coaching me or encouraging me as we were going through it, and I was hitting what I like to refer to as emotional roadblocks or stumbling, falling down, getting discouraged, getting depressed, stressed, and things like that. And so a lot of times, when you're a trailblazer, if you will, you have to figure things out on a number of different levels by yourself. And I didn't even know, well, I'm not gonna say I didn't. Well, no, I didn't know. I didn't realize that, hey, there was the corporate structure of regional directors that actually oversee a particular area that could help you out with different things. So really, even to this day, again, I share it with you guys how basically my wife is my sounding board when I'm going through things, when I'm feeling a particular type of way, when I'm not producing the results that I desire. I just talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. Like that's my therapy, if you will. And so the cool thing is that even though I don't want y'all to wear me out, you guys can sound off to me. You don't have to sound off to each other. You can definitely sound off to me. And I'm a big boy. I can handle it. However, I always say I'm a stickler for no negativity. Okay. Like, man, we want to keep everything positive. We want to keep everything progressive. And we really want to move in the direction of our dreams and goals, because yesterday is yesterday. What's done yet? What was done yesterday cannot, will not, under any circumstances, ever be changed. It's what we like to refer to as history. And then in front of each and every one of us is the future, and the wonderful thing about the future is we have the opportunity now to design it, to create it, to envision it, and then probably even just as important, we have the opportunity to work towards it, okay? And so you have to, within yourself, really figure out, what do you want your future to be? What do you want it to look like? On a number of different levels, what kind of car do you want to drive? What type of house do you want to live in? Where do you want to vacation at? How big do you want to build your business? How many people, how many preferred customers do you want to enroll? Like there's so many different aspects of our future. It can encompass our spirituality. It can encompass our family. It can encompass our business. It can just really encompass a lot of different aspects of our personal life. And that's the wonderful thing about being a human being versus a quote unquote animal, if you will. Animals operate strictly off of instinct. They're essentially programmed, if you will. Us as human beings, man, we're free moral agents. And man, we just have so many gifts, so many abilities, so many talents, and so many ideas. Like, I don't know about anybody else, but sometimes I have to dial myself back because my mind gets to running on the track way faster than my mouth and my body because of the ideas, that I have. And again, that's the wonderful thing about being a human being, and each and every one of us just really, really, really having the opportunity to make choices and decisions that benefit us, benefit our families, and benefit others. So talking about Fast Track, because man, I'm just pumped up about Fast Track. I really am. And granted, like I said, there is, a 5-day, 4-night Mexico 5-star resort, all you can eat, all you can drink. What's that? Transportation, which I don't know about anybody else. I'm not taking a boat to Mexico and I'm not driving. So transportation, which means your flight, taken care of, and then the accommodations there on the resort, with the rooms being about an average of $500 a night. So when you total all of that up, you're looking at a $4,000 to $5,000 trip. And granted, I'm sure there are some of us on here that could pay for that type of trip out of our own pocket. However, why pay for it when you can have Melaleuca pay for it, okay? And the wonderful thing that I love about it is Melaleuca is going to pay for that trip based on our own productivity, to a degree on an individual basis, but even more so collectively together as teams of 4, okay? Now, they're also going to pay all of the commissions for all the personal customers that are enrolled throughout everyone's customer group. They're also going to pay the bonuses and all the other incentives with the compensation check, in addition to the incentive trip, okay? In addition to the monthly incentives, which I want to encourage everyone by next weekend to, at a minimum, ladies and gentlemen, at a bare minimum, make it a target to enroll 2 preferred customers so you can get that Melaleuca windbreaker, okay? Really, really nice Eddie Bauer Melaleuca branded windbreaker, and that'll be a windbreaker that, it'll pretty much be seasonal, just really kind of depending on where it is that you live. I know here in Atlanta, we can pretty much wear a windbreaker all year round. I'm so thankful, I love everybody on the team that lives up north. However, I'm so thankful that I don't live up north. One of my buddies on social media, man, it was really pretty. They had a lot of snow, and he was going out getting some lemon pepper chicken wings. And those chicken wings look good. I tell you, I saw it on social media. But I said, man, if that was Atlanta, the whole city, the whole state would be shut down. There would not be a chicken wing, anything open. But anyway, so again, the Melaleuca windbreaker is cool. Now, I don't know, let's see, September, I don't know what the weather is like in Mexico. I'm just going to assume that it's pretty nice. When I say nice, I'm just going to say 70, 80 degrees, maybe warmer. I'm also going to figure at night, especially by the beach, okay, that or the ocean, that it's relatively cool. So, again, we can not only be there on that incentive trip, however, we can also have our windbreakers, or we can show up on the accountability call with our windbreakers on, or when we go to convention or any other event, or even just around town, we can have those really, really nice Melaleuca windbreakers on. And that's an incentive that is achievable for everybody, because all we have to do is enroll 2 preferred customers. So I shared some of the pictures and some of the Facebook posts of individuals that are out there in Vegas right now that are enjoying the Quest incentive trip. And now Quest, just tell you a little bit about it. It's an incentive trip that can be earned by senior and executive directors. Again, it's a point system. You get like 1 point for new enrollments, 3 points for developing directors. And this information, is typically in the Leadership in Action magazines. And that's the only way that I know about it. Plus, it's also in our members area of the back office. So they fly you out, again, to Vegas for 3 days, 2 nights, and they pay for everything. The flight, the resort/hotel accommodations, the food, and then I even saw on the one post, and you guys saw it too, they even gave them spending money, and they paid for entertainment And I'm sharing all this with you because I really want you to understand that Meluk is a first-class company, okay? First-class company. They're going to treat you like a VIP, man. They're going to take care of you. And, the reality is at the end of the day, they really don't have to do that. However, I think we all enjoy feeling appreciated. And again, hey, you ladies and gentlemen are here with me this morning on a Saturday morning, our first time ever doing an accountability call on a Saturday morning. And again, I just want to let you know that I appreciate you, because the reality is you didn't have to turn on your video cameras. You didn't have to turn on your phones. You didn't have to get up out of your bed. You didn't have to do any of that. And here's the reality. I was going to be here anyway because I made a decision. I said, you know what? This month of February, and we're going to see how it goes, we're going to do the weekend accountability call at 6 a.m. And this morning, again, at 5 a.m., my body was just like, okay, Jock, get up. And I was like, no. My body was like, yes. I was like, well, in a little while. My body's like, no. I was like, yes, no. And so my body and my mind, they were going back and forth. And eventually, when the alarm clock went off at 5:30, it was like, it was just like, okay, get up. And I was up, Now, I'd been up for 30 minutes, but I didn't want to get out the bed. I'm not going to tell any stories. Okay? Going to be very transparent with you guys. However, I did it. I stretched. Man, we're here. And, man, I mean, very, very transparently, I didn't know who was going to show up. I didn't know who was going to show up because I noticed a little reluctance, when I was like, hey, Saturday and Sunday. And the reality is, man, you guys showed up. So, most definitely, I want you to pat yourself on the back, because sometimes in life as well as in business, we don't really give ourselves the credit that we deserve. We all stretched this morning. We all entered into quote unquote uncharted territory, maybe except for Miss Dorothy, because she expressed to me that ever since she started with us getting on the calls Monday through Friday at 6 a.m., she said she gets up Saturday and Sunday and she's like, where they at? Where they at? Where they at? She's like, man, I'm getting up like, man, what am I supposed to do, man? Like, where's the crew? So this is good. And again, hey, we're going to do this. Well, my commitment is at a bare minimum, okay, is the month of this entire month of February, because again, I want to take advantage of additional opportunities just to come out and share transparently with you, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart, from the mind, as well as talk about Fast Track, just kind of get a feel for where everybody's at, how they're doing, how they feel about things. And one of the things that I want you to understand is that regardless of your results, okay, regardless of those results, the important thing is to be committed to the process. I used this illustration yesterday when I was speaking with someone. I said, do you remember the movie The Karate Kid? And they were like, yeah. And I said, do you remember Mr. Miyagi teaching Daniel-san to wax on and to wax off? And Daniel-san was, he was frustrated. He didn't want to do it. He didn't appreciate it. He didn't understand it. However, Mr. Miyagi was his mentor. Mr. Miyagi was his trainer. Mr. Miyagi was his coach. And so despite the reluctance and despite some of the activities that Mr. Miyagi had Daniel-san doing, Daniel-san continued to wax on and wax off. And so obviously there was time that actually transpired before Daniel-san was really able to appreciate what Mr. Miyagi had taught him to do. And so with that, when the competition came, when Daniel-san was hurt, when Daniel-san essentially didn't have anything left, the wax on, wax off, it, like, he didn't have to think about it. It became a reflex, and he ended up winning. Even though, they tried to cheat him, they tried to do everything that they could to break Daniel-san, okay? But number one, they couldn't break his mind, okay? That was the number one thing, because Mr. Miyagi, by means of being a good coach and a good mentor, had already helped Daniel-san to fortify his mind. Physically, yeah, he was enduring pain and they were doing they were taking cheap shots and things like that. But when it was all said and done, the wax on, the wax off, and there was a maneuver that he had. I think it was called the crane technique or something like that, where he did like that and he stood up on one leg and he was hopping and the guy ran up on him and he said, "Pop, pop." And that was it. Man, he won. And man, he got celebrated. He got the trophy. He got the girl. And it was just a feel-good type moment. And what I'm saying, and the reason I'm sharing that with you, ladies and gentlemen, is that your feel-good type moments are coming. And they literally can be the rest of your life as long as you continue to commit to your wax on, your wax off, okay? And for us, again, you know, you have to find the parallel in that, in what it is that we do. You know, success, I've said it before, success is very simple. It's all about figuring out what works and doing it over and over again. It's very repetitive. You know, I love these accountability calls because, again, we get to hear from different speakers. We get to hear a pretty good range and variety of content, if you will. And there's, you know, something beneficial that we can take away from all of these calls. In addition to the fact of it helps me to personally stretch outside of my comfort zone. I was very comfortable laying in my bed, sleeping in on the weekends. But I'm like, Jacques, come on now, let's think about this. We all only have so much time in life. It's not that I necessarily needed the extra sleep, but mentally, you know, again, our bodies are going to essentially do what our minds tell it to do. If the mind says sleep in, well, the body is going to sleep in, you know. And if we've trained, you know, by means of the mind, if we've trained the body, you know, a particular way, then when, you know, something else is interjected, if you will, there is going to be reluctance. There is going to be resistance. When you think about this business, you know, many of us have, or we had, call reluctance, meaning we would do or will do everything that we can think of aside from picking up that phone and making connections and inviting people to take a look at Melaleuca. Some of us have social media reluctance. Even though we're behind our computers and nobody can touch us, okay, we still are reluctant to make new connections on a daily basis. We still are reluctant to actually message people. Why? Because there's that fear of being told no. There's that fear of somebody saying, no, I'm not interested. That fear of, no, it's not for me. That fear of, why are you messaging me? You know, who are like, and so once we learn to get over those things, which again, a lot of it is psychological, you know, it just is what it is. But once we get over it, then we essentially are able to play or operate in what I like to refer to as the field of dreams. Because again, you know, we're creative. You know, we have the ability to go create. So going back, you know, to really, I guess what I was supposed to be speaking about this morning, I don't know, because as you guys can tell, I'm just free flowing with you. Fast track is uncharted territory, you know, and not only am I, you know, or not only did I commit to fast track and having a team of 4 like we did last year. However, my commitment, let's see, somebody, I just heard somebody has volume. Who did that volume? Oh, okay, let me mute this. All right. So I don't want to say technically speaking, however, where's it at here? Potentially, we'll have, once it's all said and done, and we're going to do the fast track call tonight too. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We could potentially have 8 fast track teams, okay? And again, I want you guys just to understand the progress here. Last year, when we did it, there was 1, okay? There was 1, there was 4 of us. This year, we could potentially have 8, just gotta, you know, reach out and contact a few people and see, you know, what is it that they are going to do. And one of the things, again, that I encouraged was regardless of who you are, and what it is that you're doing. If you're seriously looking to build this business in any type of way, I'm going to encourage you to participate in Fast Track, okay? Just to, literally get that experience and to have the accountability. And so I share the potential of the number of teams with you guys because I want you to understand the growth, okay? Now, I know, all right, hold on now. All right. I know I always reference the date of September the 16th, but the reality is last year I tried Melaleuca. On September the 16th of last year, I committed to Melaleuca. And so there's a huge difference in trying something and committing to something, because when you commit to something, you figure it out. You have individuals that say, even within a respective relationship, well, let's try it and see if it works. What what do you mean try it and see if it works? No, let's do it. Let's figure it out together and let's commit to, being successful. Again, whatever it is, and it's just a different mentality. It's a different perspective. It's a different disposition. And so I always like to see things as I desire them to be versus seeing things how they are, if you will. Now, not to say that I live in some type of fantasy world. However, I just envision things like how many of you have already, truly envisioned yourself in Mexico? Have you thought about, all right, Miss Dorothy, Miss Dorothy, yeah. Have you thought about what it is that you want to pack? What do you want to wear, when you get to Mexico? What is it that you want to do? What do you want to eat? What do you want to drink? Like really making that connection and then, understanding, okay, man, what's required so that you can get there? Because I've never been out of the United States. I've been to Hawaii, but Mexico is another country. So again, that requires a passport. That's uncharted territory for me. Not only, again, are we entering Fast Track with just a team of 4, we're talking about potentially 6 or 8 teams of 4. And here's the reality. As one of the trailblazers and pioneers here, I have to essentially not only do what needs to be done with my personal team of 4, but I also have to oversee to a degree the other teams of 4 to see how everybody's doing, to encourage everyone. And I'm just going to be very transparent with you. That's a very high level of responsibility. However, I'm okay with that because, again, throughout the course of my life, I've always been dealt a measure of responsibility. And so what I may not know, guess what? I'll learn, and where I may be lacking, someone else may be packing. And I'm not talking about any type of, well, the word packing can be used a number of different ways. What I mean is other individuals may have the talent, the ability, or the skill sets to obviously make up for my deficiencies or where I lack because I don't know everything, okay? And so as we look forward to this Fast Track, as we set up these teams, as we venture into uncharted territory, all I essentially, look for is what type of attitude does a person have, toward whatever it is that we're doing. And like I said, things that are uncomfortable, there is a natural reluctance. However, as long as you maintain a positive attitude, guess what's going to happen as we venture into this uncharted territory of Fast Track? You don't have to do it alone. We're going together. And when you go together, you get to experience it not only with other people, but, at the same time, there's that encouragement. There's that camaraderie, if you will. There's that family, feeling. And regardless, again, of what the results are, you get to feel good about doing it. Because here's the reality. If Fast Track was only a solo effort, many of us would not do it, okay? Why? Well, I don't know, for a number of different reasons, but we just wouldn't do it. However, it is a collective team and group effort. And so as I look at Fast Track here in 2020, I've already hit the fast forward button, and I'm looking at the Fast Track for 2021. If we're going from 4 teams to potentially 8 teams, well, guess what may happen in 2021? We may go from 6 to 8 teams to 40, 50 teams. See, that's what I'm looking at. But a lot of times people can't see beyond what's right in front of them. And what I would encourage all of you ladies and gentlemen to do is, again, look beyond your present circumstances. Look beyond your current ranks, your current statuses. Look beyond your current check. Look beyond your current productivity, your current skill set, your current mindset. Envision where you want to be and then be committed to working there. And again, either which way it goes, we're going to have a lot of fun. Either which way it goes, we're all going to grow. Either which way it goes, we're going to move our respective businesses forward. And so speaking about, and as well as getting ready to wrap up here on this morning, being or going into uncharted territory, I'm going to share this with you, ladies and gentlemen. Each and every one of you. Like, I don't, let's see, what's the word I'm using for it? Let me get the phraseology right. I don't doubt your commitment, because again, you could have been doing a number of different things, but you chose to show up here at 6 o'clock on a Saturday morning. Like, a lot of people would say, you crazy, okay? They would just say, man, y'all crazy. Like, I'm not doing that, okay? Well, they're not us. Well, here's the area where everybody has to improve. If you want to get this done, and that means fast track, that means actually qualifying for the incentive track, the incentive trip, and moving your business forward, you have to get beyond your reluctance of approaching people and sharing Melaleuca with them. That's the bottom line. That's all I've done ever since day one, going back to 2001 when I first started. I've simply shared Melaleuca with people through the years. The years that I was not working Melaleuca, I was still an entrepreneur, and I had to learn how to lead as well as build a sizable organization and to create systems and to pour into people from a training perspective and then develop culture of a community. See, again, I just thought it was about, hey, come in, enroll people, and those people will figure it out. But there's a lot more to actually creating success. And then one of the number one traits and qualities, that you really have to develop is taking a personal, genuine interest in the people that you're either working with or that you're speaking to. Because a lot of times in business, hey, we know what the end result is. Like, we enroll preferred customers, we're going to make money. That's cool. And guess what? The vast majority of people that we're approaching, they don't have that same mindset. So they're guarded, okay? They're not entrepreneurs. They're not business savvy individuals. I'm just saying the majority of people. And so you have to understand that in your approach. However, everyone that we approach is a consumer. Everyone that we approach is a buyer. Everyone that we approach is a shopper, okay? And so as you make your approaches, you have to figure out the angles where you're going to be able to make the connection, because everybody, ladies and gentlemen, yourselves, myself, as well as everyone that we speak to, ultimately, they want to know the answer to one question. And that question is, what's in it for me? That's what everybody wants to know. And so in your approach, if it's too aggressive or it's too, whatever, people are going to back up. And it's not because you don't have anything good. It's just because most people are naturally guarded. It's just a human tendency to guard our hearts, to guard our minds, to guard our wallets, to guard our bank accounts, to guard our families. We all are guarded. And so again, like, I do a lot of teaching and I do a lot of training. However, through this process of what I pour into you, ladies and gentlemen, where you're really going to make the breakthrough is when you figure out your way or your style of being able to connect with people in order for them to be open to genuinely taking a look at Melaleuca. And I'll share this experience with you. Before I share the experience, what the point I was making is, if you really want to achieve this incentive, all you have to do is just get beyond yourself and say, you know what? Even if I have to go sit with somebody in person and share this information with them, I'm committed to doing whatever it takes. And a lot of you will see increased conversions. And when I say conversions, that means from the people that you speak with to the people that enroll, if you sit with someone in person, okay? And so that's all the business, you know, like that's all it really is. You can't do much more than share the overview. And then once somebody has seen the overview, I'm not gonna say all you really have to do, but one of the things that you most definitely can do is leverage me. Now it's gonna get to a point, hopefully, where I'm so busy that you won't be able to leverage me as much, because you will have grown and developed to the point where your team members are leveraging you. Like, that's the goal. However, I most definitely make myself available. We have Mr. Chris Brown. He recently got started with us. He recently had a launch call. That launch call was recorded. You know, man, got him the recording. He he had some individuals attend. One of his attendees immediately that same evening after the launch call, he got me on a three-way. Chris will tell you it was very relaxed. I made a connection with Chris's a potential preferred customer. And then, you know, I found out what was going to be best for that individual. Last night, we got that individual enrolled. Today, actually this morning, here in about an hour and a half, we have planned, and it's in my phone here, to place their first order, okay? So again, Chris leveraged me, okay? Because that way he can hear, he can observe how it is that I walk people very gently through the process of onboarding them here to Melaleuca. Last night also, Miss Dorothy Butler, she contacted me. She said, Jacques, this person says they're ready, you know, XYZ, XYZ. I was like, okay, well, let them know I'll reach out to them. I reached out to the person. I asked some questions, and, you know, I got a feel for where they were at. And then I asked them, because I know them, I said, well, what does your husband think about everything? And they were like, well, you know, I'm going to tell him about it. I said, no. That's like, I don't need you telling your husband about it, because you're new. And new people, they're so excited and they don't know what they're talking about that typically they're going to go mess it up. I don't even try to explain it. And I was, you know, not to brag, but I was the #1 enroller in the entire company for 1 month. I don't even try to explain it. You know what I do? I show and share the video. So what I did was I said, listen, are you going to pick up your husband? Let's schedule something for later on this evening. I'll get on Zoom with you guys. They had never been on Zoom, okay? So I had to walk them through the process of downloading Zoom. And guess what I did, ladies and gentlemen? I played the overview. It was like 9:45 last night. I didn't make a big announcement or anything like that. I played the overview for the husband and the wife, so that way they can get the same information the same way at the same time and be on one accord with their understanding. And then I gave both the opportunity to ask questions. I answered those questions, which, you know, the husband didn't have many questions at all. It made sense to him. You know, he understood what his wife had been, you know, kind of talking about. And he was like, okay, cool. I'm cool. The wife was like, when can I get started? I was like, whenever you and your husband decide to pay for it, you know. And so the husband was like, okay, well, hey, I'm about to go to bed. I'm going to give my wife my card. And he told his wife, like, hey, you can talk to Jock. Y'all can get everything set up. So that's what I did. I enrolled them for Dorothy, got everything set up, got the order placed. And so that's why I said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to serve you. I'm here to help you out with whatever you need assistance with. However, I want you to understand that this is all about growth and development. And literally, I wish I could record everything that it is that I do so you guys could see it, you know, as far as the different components of the process. Here's the reality. You're going to have to step out there to a very high degree of faith and just go through it. And if you get stuck or if you make a mistake, it's okay. You're not going to break anything, okay? And so again, I wanted to share that with y'all because that's what it takes. It takes that personal touch. Social media is cool. The phones are cool. However, you really have to really, get one-on-one with people, ask questions, listen, and then respond appropriately. But the whole point, again, really in sharing that was when you share this information with the right people, that's what they say. How do I get started? When can I get started? I'm ready to rock and roll. What do we do next? When you share it with the right people. When it's with, and not to say that anybody is necessarily the wrong person, but there's a certain group of people you're going to share it with, and they're going to tell you they're going to get started, and you're never going to hear from them again. It just is what it is, okay? And you have to be discerning and realize when to let go and just say, you know what? It's not a good time for this person right now. Because if it were, they would be contacting you. And that's not the first person that Miss Butler has actually had, contact her and let her know that they're ready to get started. But the thing I love to do, I want to make sure that people are educated. People are excited. That's fine. I love excitement, but people have to be educated. So again, ladies and gentlemen, super proud of you guys. We'll be back tomorrow, 6 a.m. We'll talk a little bit more about Fast Track tonight, hopefully. And we're just going to kind of leave it up in the air, if you will. I don't really like to leave things in the air, but thing is, I'm trying to, contact some more people and get these teams and just make sure everybody is on the same understanding, if you will, because it's really time to press forward. And even though the teams are not put together yet, you still need to be enrolling because your enrollments and your points are counting toward your incentive trip. So, man, I tell one story and 10 minutes goes by. Anyway, you ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful day. 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the only scheduled overview right now, okay? Like the 8 p.m. is not scheduled right now. The 1 p.m. is, and then, because like 8 p.m. I don't think 8 p.m. was scheduled for this week. I don't know. Anyway, I'll figure it out. I'll look back at the schedule, and then I'll make the schedule out for next week because I'm working online with people. I'm working offline with people. Keeping the schedule, running the system. And then, I told you guys before, hey, I need some help with different things because otherwise, I just, try to do everything. But it's coming and individuals are stepping up to the plate. I definitely appreciate it. And as we, continue to work together and refine certain aspects of our system and the way that we do things, it's going to be a lot more intuitive and it'll be, a whole lot smoother. So have a great day. Make sure you just get out there and passionately share Molucca, ask those questions, get people to the overviews. And then, like I said, hey, feel free to reach out to me, Jacques. You got time for a quick three-way? Of course. Well, if I don't have time, I'll make the time, okay? Because I really want to see you, ladies and gentlemen, win. Have a great day, and I'll see everybody at 1 p.m.